Sure, came here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, off of Love Can't Wait, which you can find at Amazon.com. And I got a question a couple days ago, and this is probably the best question I think anyone has ever sent me, and I appreciate questions like this. Someone asks, I'm going to read it. I'm a 23-year-old student graduating from USC in Columbia, South Carolina, uh, next semester, and I've been dating this girl for about a year and a half now, and I'm wondering, when is there a good time to get married? When should you get married? Basically, that's what his question. And he's 23 years old. He goes to USC in Columbia, South Carolina. And USC is pretty cool. I've been to USC. And you know what? Well, my response to that question, when should you get married, it's gonna be a little uncommon, and kind of not something that you would hear a lot of people talk about and respond the way I do, because I tend to go in the opposite direction of everybody else when it comes to majority of things. Now, when it comes to getting married, first question I always ask people, or whenever I hear someone's getting married, the first question I ask is why. I mean, of course I'd say congratulations, but why are they getting married? Are they getting married because they want a family? Are they getting married because they like the idea of being married or getting married? Or is it about that one big day? Or what is really about? Is it about leaving a legacy for your kids? Um, what is it all about? That's the first question I ask. And after that, it takes a good 7 years to really get to know someone. 7 good long years. Because you have to realize that it takes time to get to know this person. Do they value family? Do they value friendships? What do they think about kids? How does this person act under pressure or when they're stressed? How do they act when they're in front of groups of people, or when they're in front of your friends, your family, or when they're under stress, or how do they act when y'all go on a vacation together, or when they're out of their environment totally, or in a new environment where it's like things get uncomfortable? How do they respond? How do they see the world? Where do their ideas and their perspective comes from? And it takes a long time to really get to know people. I mean, how do they act when they get pissed off at you? Do they stay upset for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 6 hours, 5 days, 30 days? You see what I'm going with this? This takes time. See, because everyone has two sides. Some people say higher self and lower self. But see, everyone has different sides. See, in the beginning, you're not going to see this because we've been conditioned to kind of hide who our true self. Because see, in the beginning, most people, you see the representative, after. And then after that 90 days, the more time you spend around this person, things will just slip out, And maybe if you get married to this person too early, and this is where things usually go south, because people just didn't spend enough time around each other. And a lot of people get caught off guard because a lot of people get complacent when they get married, or they get complacent when they move in with each other. Because a lot of people feel like, well, I already got this person. They're not going anywhere. We got kids together. We got a house together. So I don't got to do all that stuff I used to do. See, a lot of people have that mindset. And it's a mistake. And, you know, a lot of people believe that they should do the least amount to get what they want. You know, for whatever reason, I don't know where that comes from exactly. Maybe it comes from where they were raised. Maybe it comes from their parents or their mother or their father. Or maybe it comes from the environment that they grew up in. But you're not going to notice until you've gotten to know this person by the time you hit that 7-year mark. And, you know, I used to hear a lot of old people talk about that 7-year mark. That 7-year mark is very critical because you really have to grow together. You have to really get to know this person through thick and thin, and it takes a long time to really get to know somebody, and you have to invest a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of understanding. And you have to grow together. You might even have to live together. It's really on you. You know, I don't mind either way, really. You know, I think if you live together, that'll give you a much a faster rate of getting to know each other. You know, some people will say, well, you should live together if you plan on being married to that person. And which, either way, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't really think it makes a big difference. Old people used to say that you shouldn't shack up before you get married or whatever, because that mentality, that way of thinking was based on the Bible. And, you know, to me, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you're consistently trying to get to know the other person. You're trying to build and grow with the other person. And that's going to take time. And, you know, some people might not like the guy that some women, I know some women personally, don't like a guy that's ambitious. Don't like a guy that likes to travel a lot. Doesn't like the guy that's speaking on stage. Maybe he's a public speaker. Some women don't like being around guys like that. Some women want a guy that's just simple. He works his 9 to 5 job. They have kids, buy a house, and live happily ever after. They don't really like a guy that's very sociable. You know, some women don't like a guy that's flamboyant, that dress well, that like to be out in the spotlight, that like to get everybody involved, friends and family. Some women don't like guys that like to do things together and bring groups of people together like a family. Some women don't like guys like that. Some women like a guy that is just her and him. That's it. And when it comes to having friends and family around, some women don't like a guy like that. They just want it has to be just. It can only be one. That's it. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's kind of selfish, because if it's all about family, you have to think about having adding other people into the equation. But a lot of women, and some guys as well, don't see it like that, because they don't see the value of friends and family. But you're not going to notice within a couple of months or a couple of weeks. This takes time, because you have to understand where people come from, where they were born. Did they have any diseases in their family that can be passed down? Because if you're going to have kids with this woman or this man, you have to think about that. This person might get sick. You know, I mean, it's a lot of things that comes into play when you get married. And plus, what type of relationship does this other person have with their parents and their family? And where do they live? And is she or he willing to move away from their family? You know, there's a lot of stuff that come into play. And some people aren't willing to leave their family. Some people want to stay in their hometown forever, and they're not making any plans or wouldn't even consider leaving their friends and family, period. But you have to know this stuff. And a lot of marriages break up because a lot of people just didn't know. They didn't know certain things about certain people that they chose to partner up with and get in a marriage. And all they just feel like, I love this person and I want to be with this person. But it's not, marriage is not about only love. Love is just a little small equation of marriage. And marriage is a business, just like any relationship. How you feel is not going to dictate how the relationship is going to go. And if you don't believe that, go down to your local courthouse, and you're going to see, and because divorce court is a $50 billion business. And if you go in that courtroom with these district attorneys and lawyers and judges talking about how you feel, they're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna act like you're a clown, and they're gonna be laughing all the way to the bank with your money. So it pays to, in my opinion, take your time and get to know people that you get married to. Give it at least, I say, 7 years, man. And another thing that you should keep in mind, if you make the mistake as a man living in America and get married to the wrong woman, you might never recover from that shit. Because the system and the laws is biased as it is when it comes to black males or non-white people. So if you get married to the wrong woman, your life will never be the same ever again. I can almost guarantee that. And if she's the type of woman that believes that she's dependent on the system, she believes in going through the system, the court system and all that stuff, and if that's her first conflict resolution or her first solution to solving the problem between you and her, she ain't for you. You do not want to be around a person that's like that, because that's a red flag. Anybody that lack conflict resolution skills or have bad social skills, that they can't handle their everyday problems on their own. And a lot of these women and a lot of these men as well, they have a pattern of that in their life. Every time something happens, they call in the police, or they get in the court system involved, or they're getting, always a third party has to be in the mix. If you see that within a man or a woman, the best thing you can do is move on. And that's why I said it takes time to get to know a man or a woman. So that's when you should get married. Once you know someone thick and thin, throughout. Now, I'm not saying you're going to know everything, but you're going to know enough. You're going to know enough about a person. And you're going to know if someone's loyal or you can trust them, what type of values they have, etc. I think you understand where I'm coming from. So, if you have any questions, leave your comments below. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, I'm out.